Hello and welcome to Homestead Imaginations. Today's video is going to go over where we started with gardening and on this path to trying to build a homestead. This is where it all began. We started here with a 10 foot by 10 foot garden right into the soil. We dug out the initial top layer of grass and a little bit of clay, and then we brought in soil from out back in the field that was really nice. It was very loamy. It was not clumped together at all. It still ended up being clay soil, but at least it was a lot better. It was under shade and it had a lot of nutrients in it. So that's where we started. And then we've slowly over the years have put in normal soil into this. So this is a garden that my wife talked me into doing. The thing with me and why I think like maybe these videos would be helpful to others out there is I had zero experience growing anything growing up. Never grew anything, never paid attention. My parents had like a small garden in the backyard that grew a couple tomato plants, a couple pepper plants, and that was, not a lot. A very, very small plot. Like this is bigger than what they had growing up, and I was just not interested in it. I was a complete nerd and obsessed with, I'm still a nerd, but like I was obsessed with playing video games all the time growing up in that era, and that's all I wanted to do. I had no interest in actually picking up any skills, improving myself in any kind of way. Extremely lazy. All I wanted to do is just play video games. So that's where I came from when we started this garden 2 years ago. So in 2022, we put this 10 foot by 10 foot garden in, and that's where we started. And we didn't do any research. My wife had some experience. Her dad always had a garden, and so she had some experience with it, and she always wanted to try it. So once we got to this property, she was like, let's try a garden. And she went to the store, a local garden center store here, and just bought a bunch of plants, and we just threw them in and like kind of looked up real quick like spacing and what she kind of remembered for what certain things needed for space, but it wasn't anything official. Actually, I don't even think we looked anything up. I'm pretty sure she just went by what she thought, and we just threw things into the garden. And we found out as the year went on, or that season went on, that we overstuffed the garden. There was too much, and then we even tried a couple plants outside the garden, and we didn't do anything to even protect or like set up the soil. We literally just took, I think one was an eggplant and the other one was a squash, some kind of squash, and we put it on the outside of each corner. And so thinking it would have plenty of space to grow, and they didn't grow. Like one, like it stayed green like the whole season, but did not grow beyond like, I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 inches tall. And that was it. Like the leaves it didn't grow anymore. It didn't do anything. So because we literally went right into the clay. We took the grass off the top, like by just like kind of clearing it by ripping it out, and then just putting the plant right in there without any actual soil amenities. So they didn't do very well. But the other thing that we started with, and I'll show over here, is finally doing great. This is our raspberry bush that we got from a cutting from her dad. And this is actually the first year we are gonna get some raspberries off there. So they're growing, they're starting to form. It's just these couple canes that have any strawberries on them at all. But we're pretty excited to have them, but it's got some long shoots. This is the best year that this plant has done. So this is its 3rd year here, and it's finally starting to like shoot out these long canes that I'm gonna try and get the plant into the ground to, spread this even further. These are 2 plants I bought this year, 2 more raspberry bushes. Cleared out a spot for them, and then this was all stone that we moved to a different area and then put in the raspberry bushes. And then the other thing that we started with, besides just the 10 foot by 10 foot garden, is this little kiddie pool here. This kiddie pool was filled with strawberries last year, but we got puppies last year, and they wanted to dig, and they dug all this out. So we only have this one strawberry plant that made it, and then this little guy kind of came in after. But neither one are doing very well. So this is basically done. Plus, like I was gonna move these anyway. Over here, they spread from the pool and they went into the stones. Like, that's all stones there, and they're just growing. But as you can see, I got little pots. I'm taking the runners, and I'm going to use this raised bed and just put it over there next to right behind that garden. I've got 3 of these raised beds that I'm going to put over there and fill in and then try and take all these shoots and put them into the garden. So what we've got in here, so this garden has got a lot of open space here because a lot of things did not grow well this year. I tried growing from seed. That's 2 cucumber plants right there. One that was like right there, and then the other one's in the corner that you can kind of see it over here running through. They're going wild. They didn't go up the fence like I thought they would on their own, so which is what I was hoping they would do. I planted them right next to the fence. So another lesson learned. Again, I had no experience into gardening, so I'm learning a lot of things as we go. But we've got 6 green bean plants in here. These 3, and I did a big harvest just a couple weeks ago. Or last week, I think it was. Yeah, it was last week. I harvested all the green beans and yellow beans that were ready. Looks like we got a few more here that are ready as well. So I'll be harvesting them soon. And then I did the whole blanching process for the first time, putting them in a bag, and then or freezing them. But first boiling them in hot water for 2 to 3 minutes, and then putting them in an ice bath, and then bagging them in a freezer. So this is kind of essentially our first year having green beans, because last year we tried green beans and the bunnies got in and ate them all. The bunnies around here really like green beans and the sugar snap peas that we like to grow. So what I tried to do, and I'll try and show it here. Let's see, where's a good spot to show it. I guess I'll just show it right here on the fence. So originally it was just this fence with this, and the bunnies can jump through this, no problem. They can jump through that. So I was like, all right. I went and got chicken wire, and you can kind of see it here. It's a little hard to pick up, but I got the chicken wire here to put around the base to prevent them from jumping in. And I thought I'd won that battle until literally, I think 2 nights ago, the dog, one of our dogs was barking in the window, and Kiki, and we look out because we're like, what the heck is going on? Why is she so excited right now? And we look in, there's a bunny in the garden, and then all my lettuce and completely everything was eaten up, and they even ate one of my pepper plants, which I'll show in another video. But so I put this on thinking that it would stop them. And I meant to pick up the smaller chicken wire that doesn't have these big holes in there. So I don't know how they're still fitting in. I mean, I can barely put 4 fingers through here. So maybe there's different areas where it just lines up a little bit better. But yeah, I watched it jump through the fence, not over this, not up here, like jump through it somehow and just finagled their body. So it's a young rabbit. The bigger ones can't do that for sure. But so I got to do more. I've got some stuff that my neighbor gave me that I'm gonna possibly look at putting around the base that will close up that space and hopefully prevent the rabbits from getting in. So we've got a eggplant here, and so far it's not doing too much. It is kind of rebounded, or not rebounded, but it looks like it's kind of set itself and its roots are spreading. But I just put this into the garden, I believe last week. It was a late start. Again, I made a lot of mistakes when I was trying to grow from seed, and a lot of things I didn't either germinate or they died when I brought them out. So eggplant was one that I couldn't get to germinate. So then I used the method in one of my previous videos of germinating the seed in the baggie, and I got this. So I put it in. I don't know if I doubt, it doesn't seem like we'll probably get anything out of this just because it is so late in the season. Today is July 11th? I think it is. So I don't think it'll do much, but again, it was good experience to just take a seed and practice germinating a seed and then transplanting it into the garden successfully. So it's still a win. Even if I don't get anything out of this year, it'll still a win to get more practice in germinating seeds. Then we got 3 broccolis, and we're starting to get heads forming here. Definitely some pest damage. In the future, I'm definitely going to try and get more, or not get more, I've just put out here a lot of like bird houses and stuff and get an increase. There's a lot of birds in the area. You might even be able to catch them in the video. They were just chirping, so but get them a little bit more focused around the gardens and stuff to help with the pest. But this one's got a pretty decent sized head going. So my son, my oldest, he is super excited about the broccoli. He looked at this earlier and was like ecstatic because he absolutely loves broccoli. It's his favorite vegetable and he can't wait. So this one here was a bonus. I believe it's a cherry tomato plant because that's all we had for tomato plants last year. And I found this when I was weeding by the little kiddie pool where the strawberry patch is. And I found it and I was like, I might as well put it in. I had some space in the garden and I only had 2 cherry tomato plants this year. So I was like, well, we could do another one. And then this is another bonus one right here in the corner that grew here. All of a sudden, like, I just looked over and it wasn't, because there's some grass that I'm not very good about weeding. Weeding is not my forte, especially when I'm busy trying to get other projects done. It's hard for me to prioritize weeding. I know I need to get better about it, but other things are just higher priority at the moment. So this one actually just started growing. I was like, all right, well, let's let it go. If I get stuff out of it, I get stuff out of it. If not, then no harm lost. But there's some little ones here starting to form, so we'll see. And then so this is one of the cucumber plants, but they're growing like crazy. And we're excited because last year, here's a good see if I can get all these leaves out of the way of the camera. Last year we tried growing cucumbers and bringing them out, they didn't do very well and they died. Or no, we bought them because this is the first year of seeds. So last year, let's see if there's any more. There's a bunch on the outside here. You can see one there, kind of see one through the fence there. But as soon as we put them in, they're in like the little planting cups, and we got like a windstorm like right after we put them in, and it completely killed them. So we didn't get any that year. And then the year before, we accidentally bought pickling cucumbers. They grew really short and they were really bitter, and we didn't realize that we had done that. So that was terrible. So we haven't had cucumbers yet either. So this year will be our first year. So these are cherry tomato plants, or a type of cherry tomato plant. So these are doing pretty well. They're starting to grow pretty big. They're bigger than the ones that we had last year. I really liked the ones that we had last year. They're really, I think this was like the biggest that they got, which is perfect. Maybe even a little bit smaller than that. Maybe something like in the middle between this one right here and then this one. It was the size. So some of those in the back are pretty big. So I forgot the variety of what these ones are. But the one that we had last year was great. They're a perfect size, great for our salads. We love throwing them in our salads. This is our romaine lettuce. So we got these 3. I tried growing more. Again, a lot of issues, but it was a big learning year. I'm really excited with what I have gotten done this year and what I've learned, more so what I learned. Then I've got this is our cucumber plant, and we've got 3 growing, and I already harvested one that was huge. That one, and then kind of see it back here in the back corner. So we got 3 growing, 3 more growing. So got plenty of zucchini. So that's a garden. So yeah, this was supposed to be, we were supposed to have a bunch of pepper plants here. I forget what else we were gonna have. I think more lettuce, spinach. Yeah, that's it. We were gonna have spinach here, which I did plant 2 more spinach, and they're still in the basement. They're still, because I just started those from germinating from seed just not too long ago. So got those started, and I'll be probably bringing them out maybe another week. I'll be able to bring them out again. If I don't get much out of them, it's not a big deal. Even though I knew it was really late to be trying to start seeds, again, it was just a learning experience, get more familiar with spinach, because I haven't grown spinach before. So this was going to be my first year, and I was bummed that the spinach I had brought out here, through my mistakes of trying to start from seed in the house, that I didn't end up getting any. They died when I brought them out. So I wanted to at least try and grow them again, just get more familiar. So that's this garden. One of the other things that we did with this garden is I put boards along here to prevent any digging, so that way the rabbits won't dig in. So I like having those boards. They definitely did its job for preventing things from digging, but then I have another garden over here which I did not put, another 10 by 10 garden right next to it that I did not put the boards in, and the rabbits or any creature has not dug underneath to get to any of the plants, so I don't think they really prevented anything. But one thing that I do like about having them, and I do still want to put like boards there, and in the boards I use, I didn't buy. Everything I try and do here is either free or as cheap as I possibly can. So like on Marketplace, I'm constantly looking for things, or other people, like I know people who have stuff that they're just trying to get rid of, I try and use. So like the boards are literally pallets, free pallets that I got that were heat treated, not the chemically treated kind, so you can use them around food and growing. So I use those as the frames just to get this going. So it helps, and the main thing that it really helps with is water. When I'm watering, especially the plants on the side, on the second garden, if I'm watering any plants on the side, the water just runs out, mainly because I haven't been very good about mulching or putting any kind of protective layer on the soil. So the mulch I got here, I got from my neighbor. You'll hear me talk about them a lot because they're amazing people, and they've been so extremely helpful in every aspect of our lives as moving in here. Couldn't ask for better neighbors at all. But I have a barn, and I let them store some of their stuff, so a bunch of their stuff there, and so they didn't have to do a storage unit. So I'm saving them money, and so they kind of give me things that help me. So they went and picked up a couple loads of this black mulch that I finally put in. I only put this in maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, and before that the soil was awful looking. It didn't hold water. You'd water it and it basically just stayed on top and just would go to the lowest point in the garden. So the wood would help with that in the first place for us, but then now with the mulch will help protect for that. But you'd look at the soil and you could see it had like cracks. It was super dry. It just didn't look good. Like it wasn't high in nutrition. And I've tried to use, like last year we had bought like cow mixed fertilizer or whatever from the store, and we'd put that in. So we have used some kind of fertilizers in here, but now that I am trying to go down the homestead path, I'm trying to do everything locally. So one of the things, and I'll cover exactly what I did, but back there in the back corner, I built 2 little compost bins, and that's where I'll be getting all my fertilizer going forward. So what I'll probably do is once I get that going, so I've got some stuff that I've just thrown in there, but I actually haven't started the compost yet. I'm going to be picking up cow manure from a local farm that's actually just right behind us, basically. So I'm going to be picking up cow manure from them and buying some local beef from them, because their beef is no vaccines and nothing being added, so it's natural, so clean. And that's what I'm looking for. Like, I don't use any pesticides. Like, that's why I talk about, even though those are getting eaten up bad by some kind of bug or whatever, I'm not gonna spray any pesticides or anything. Like, keeping that completely out of my food. Trying to grow this completely clean, so that's why, like, I'm gonna be looking at eventually putting in a lot of bird houses and really having the birds like hang out in this area. They'll fly through and they'll check the grass, like especially after rain. They'll be searching for the worms all through the grass, but like I want to make homes for them, put out bird baths all within this area, and all this area behind me is all going to be growing food. Like one way or another, it's going to have something in it. You can kind of see my trees in the back. That's going to be a food forest I'm going to be building with using like a NAP system. I think it's a NAP system, but all that. So this is all going to be all growing food, all growing plants and fruit and vegetables. So I want to scatter throughout all of this, having a bunch of bird houses, so that way the birds are always around and hopefully helping us with the pests. So that's our first garden. That's what got it all started, which is super funny because my wife is the one that talked me into it. Again, super nerd, never into any of this kind of stuff. But as I've gotten older, I finally smartened up, got wiser, as they say, and realized that there's more to life than definitely games and TV screens. And I spend less and less time over the years playing any of that. Like, I barely even play games. Like, I mean, I used to sit down for a whole day and play, and I'll go months and months without even touching a video game. So she's super, she's the one that talked me into doing the garden, and I immediately got hooked, got obsessed with it, and it just kind of slowly has been building over the last couple of years. So this was in 2022, then the next year we added that other 10 by 10, and then this year we've added this. I've got a greenhouse in the back that I've got that I just finally finished putting the panels up, so it's super late in the season. But I did bring out our watermelon plant and a melon plant, just to at least, hopefully it produces something. But again, it's another late in the season, but I wanted to get more experience, and for me it's not going to be a loss if I don't get anything out of those plants. It's just a learning experience, really. And then, plenty to go. There's so much things that I'm going to be trying to do to grow this. So yeah, so this is the first year, and the wife is just like, she's created a monster, basically. She says, because like I'm obsessed, I'm addicted, and over the years, like, I'm just getting more and more into it. And then like this year, watching videos online of other people who are like homesteading and gardeners and stuff, like, I just really decided, like, all right, yeah, like, this is what I really want. I want to create and build a homestead and be able to provide and grow or raise the majority of my food. So it's a long journey, and it's gonna take a long time to get there. We barely have a budget for doing this. So it's whatever I can scrape together to do the next expansion. Next year will be a massive expansion. I am saving up already right now for next year of planning out this space with at least the fruit trees and all the perennial bushes and stuff, and get that started. At least getting at least one of each of those things besides the fruit trees. Fruit trees, I'm going to get everything that I want, hopefully, depending on how many I scale out for, and then get those. But the bushes, I at least want one. Like this raspberry bush that I showed, I can now start to propagate that and start creating more off of that. So I won't buy any more of those, but I'll be able to get more by that. So I'll be at least getting the basis and the starting points to be able to start getting this going and building the food forest and the orchard and all the fruit trees. So like right now this year we just got 2 apple, only 1 pear made the journey. Oh, look at that butterfly. Literally just landed on my shoulder. That's awesome. And then 2 elderberry bushes that I've started out there. So that was just a start. I was like, I didn't have time for it, and it was super hard to get those in, but I'm glad I did, because they take forever to get going. So it's a few years before you start to see any rewards from getting those planted and started. So I wanted to really get them. So next year, that's the main focus for the expansion for the garden, is really getting the perennials and the fruit trees up and running. So that way, in a few more years, we can actually start to reap the benefits and having all this excess fruit and vegetables and everything else that I'll be growing out there and in these gardens, and then the future gardens I'll be doing out here. So, well, I hope this video was helpful. It kind of is giving you recapping of where we started and laying out like what the garden looks like this year. So I'll catch you in the next one. Keep the imagination rolling. Thanks. Bye-bye.